Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a seriously extraordinary adventure. Picture this, a freezing, wind-battered mountaintop, swirling with deep snow, and a young girl wrapped in a giant, billowing coat standing right at the edge of a steep slope. Today, we're exploring the magical story Beware Low-Flying Girls, where a young hero makes a discovery that literally changes everything. I absolutely can't wait to unpack exactly how this thrilling, frosty world comes to life on the page. Let's get into it.
Just take a deep breath and let this image settle in your mind for a second. Imagine living at the very top of a mountain where the wind blows birds backwards and seagulls tumble right in through your window. It's wild, it's freezing cold, and it's completely magical, right? Well, this is Odil's snowy world. It's the kind of vivid, atmospheric opening that instantly grabs you and pulls you right into the storm alongside her.
Okay, let's dive into our agenda for today. We'll start with a welcome to the adventure, then brave the wild, snowy setting and listen to grandfather's wise advice. From there, we'll experience the magic of flight, crack open the writer's toolkit, and finally, explore the core themes of the journey.
Section 1. Welcome to the adventure. Entering Odil's world.
So, before we get too deep, it really helps to know exactly what kind of story we're dealing with. We're looking at the adventure genre, and adventure stories, well, they share some very specific features. You usually have a brave main character, often with some kind of special skill, a wild setting, a quest, a massive challenge to overcome, and, fingers crossed, a happy ending. As we unpack Odil's story, I want you to keep an eye out for these features.
Section 2. A wild, snowy setting. The wind-battered mountain.
Now, what's really interesting here is how the author, Katherine Rundell, elevates a super basic, literal idea into a stunning visual scene. I mean, you could just say the wind was very strong. Kind of boring, right? But instead, we get birds reverse somersaulting up the cliff, their feathers shedding like confetti. It makes this fierce wind feel almost like a wild, chaotic celebration. Section 3. Grandfather's wise advice. Birds and fire.
So, Odil lives entirely alone on this mountain with her stern grandfather, and he's this deep, grounding source of wisdom for her. He gives her a very specific, kind of mysterious warning. Always be polite to birds. They know more than they let on. Remember that fierce wind we just talked about? Well, it actually blows irate seagulls straight into their house, landing in Odil's lap like angry bookmarks. It's a huge hint that birds deeply matter in this world.
His second piece of advice gives us another really fascinating comparison. Literally, he means keep the fireplace burning so they literally don't freeze to death. But figuratively, he tells her to keep the fire as hot as the human heart, never let it go out. This is such a powerful metaphor. The fire isn't just about physical warmth. It stands for enduring family love, life, and hope. It's their emotional anchor.
All right, so Odil is preparing to step out into that terrifying storm. And to do it, she gathers up a very special coat. It's her father's old coat, and it is enormous, way too big for her. The color has faded from cocoa brown to the color of an old shoe. It smells richly of horses and wood smoke, and it doesn't even have buttons. Every single detail here tells us that this coat is old, deeply loved, and carries the physical and emotional memory of her dad. She actually has to grip a corner in each fist just to hold the whole thing closed.
Section 4. The magic of flight. Defying gravity.
Let's trace exactly how her first flight attempt happens. At 0 seconds, she runs, and the wind just tosses her up. For one glorious second, we get this beautiful phrase, gravity undone. But by 3 seconds, she's completely terrified, she screams, covers her face, and falls. By 10 seconds, she's lying on the ground, totally winded. She doubts herself. Did she fly, or did she just trip? But here is the real takeaway. True bravery isn't about not being afraid. It's about acting in spite of your fear. She has to know the truth.
Notice how the author builds incredible suspense here. Odil doesn't just wildly jump again. She makes these sensible, determined preparations. Step 1. She rubs snow in her own eyes to check she's truly awake. Step 2. She pins her hair back with a twig. Step 3. She calmly puts on her gloves. And Step 4. She stretches out her coat and runs downhill. Walking us through these grounded, deliberate steps stretches out the tension right before the big moment.
And then, the climax is delivered with just 3 short words. And Odil flew. That's it. No flowery explanation needed. These short, punchy sentences pack maximum emotional impact. It confirms the magic, pays off all that tension we just built up, and leaves us absolutely desperate to know what happens next.
Section 5. The Writer's Toolkit. Crafting the Magic.
Good writing is rarely an accident, and this perfectly illustrates how the magic is made. Similes, like feathers scattering like confetti, help us compare strange magic to things we already know. The metaphor of the fire as hot as the human heart adds so much emotional weight, and the exaggeration of snow deep enough to hide a cat instantly makes the setting feel wild and overwhelming.
Another massive tool used here is narrative structure. That's simply the order events are told in, and it's used very intentionally to pace the action and build suspense. Think about it. We're first teased that she can fly. Then we learn about the violent wind. Then we take time to understand the emotional weight of her dad's coat. Then she fails her first flight, and only then does she truly fly. That deliberate pacing is what keeps us glued to the page.
Section 6. Themes of the Journey. Beyond the Magic.
Okay, before I just give it all away, let's do a quick interactive pause. Think back for a second. Why was her father's coat so undeniably special to the story? Take a moment to recall the details we went over. Why not just a normal winter jacket?
Well, answering that actually leads us directly into our core themes. The coat wasn't just clothing. We learn her father actually used it to fly too. It represents enduring family love passed down across generations. Ultimately, this story is about discovery and wonder hidden in ordinary life. It's about courage, proving that real bravery is acting even when you're terrified. And for sure, it's about the spark of adventure, the idea that every great journey begins with one daring step.
And that brings us to the end of today's explainer, leaving me with a question for you. Will you take the daring leap into your next adventure? Ordinary life can hold extraordinary magic if you're brave enough to stretch out your arms and run into the wind. Thank you so much for exploring Odil's world with me today. Keep seeking wonder, stay brave, and remember, always be polite to birds. They know way more than they let on.